Hello and welcome to the Top Level Society podcast.
Yes, welcome.
Today we are talking to Director of IT Cinema, Blake Sandifur.
IT Cinema, what do they do?
Marketing and branding among other services.
Sounds like they make things many people ignore.
Possibly, but many people don't ignore them and sometimes they actually help educate you that a product you need exists.
Okay, that may have happened once or twice, and I'm sure Blake Sandifur is a great dude. I'm just saying I don't dig commercials about.
And I'm just saying you should be polite, respect our guest, and only talk about how you love commercials and that without them, our economy would be in the dumpster.
You're right, Siri. I love commercials. Otherwise I would have never purchased this sleek snuggy and slap chop. Wait till you see these nuts.
I don't need a demonstration of your slap chop, Zarvox. Let's just start the podcast.
Yes, let's. Here is your host, Luthraz Dometriax.
Yeah, it's that boy Max with a banger, huh?
It's Wednesday, May 7th, 2014, about noon, 18 minutes after noon, Eastern Standard Time. We're in Spring Hill, Florida, with Blake Sandifur. Welcome to the podcast, Blake.
Thank you.
Allison is with us as well. My name is Luthraz Dometriax, and you're listening to the Top Level Society podcast. And Blake, what we do here on this podcast is everyone gets asked the same question initially, and then we just go from there. So the question is, what do you give a fuck about? And you're smiling, so...
That's a good question.
Nice.
I guess, that's a tough question. I think it's changed over the course of recently, I guess. So I guess I would say, first I guess my family, of course. I have a wife and two young kids, so I think that has changed my outlook on, I guess, mostly what I care about.
Sure.
Especially from a work standpoint, since I spend 90% of my time doing that. It's just trying to not just taking on the work, I guess, to take on more work. I think we made that mistake initially. It was just like as much work as you could get, and just like kind of wears you down. So lately we have tried to slim down, I guess, our client list to focus more on a quality product and quality work. And I guess what we, personally I've found that, you make just as much money with a smaller amount of clients and kind of enjoy the work a little bit more. So I guess trying to make my life a little more enjoyable through work.
Sure.
Is as crazy as that sounds. I'm not sure if having 2 young kids has like kind of shaped that mentality, you know? Because just before it was just like we just had so much work coming through here that it was kind of just this like fog of, but definitely, I definitely care about this business, I guess, or my business more, my family, my business. I'm just trying to kind of find a balance to, you see a lot of other people, there's obviously like a good balance in work and having fun.
Sure.
And so it's trying to find that.
It's a delicate balance for sure.
Yeah. So that's the long version. I guess the short version is just trying to be happy and enjoying life, because it's pretty short as you get older.
Yeah.
Hope that's.
I like that. Yeah. So family and work. I like it. So, id Cinema is your business. Is it IT Cinema or id Cinema?
It's IT Cinema.
Okay, which stands for Ivory Towers.
Right.
Yeah. So, I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Where did the name IT Cinema come from?
From back when we used to make skate videos.
What's a skate video, by the way?
What's a skate video? Skate video is when you're young and you have friends that skate and you want to document every second of your entire life and put that on DVDs and sell it to the general public, so that you and your friends can have money for the things that young people like to do.
We won't get it.
Yeah, so when I was younger, it was like early 20s, I guess, 10 years ago.
Sure.
Myself and all my friends that I live with, we just made skate videos, basically just filmed ourselves every day doing skating or not.
One of those cats was Lauren Bahal, right?
Lauren Bahal,
and Kyle Kelly. Yep.
And Sean Callahan and Brian Walker and Tanner and Jay.
Jay
There's
Morgan.
tons of people that were in that crew.
A lot of talent, yeah.
So everybody liked, I guess, the videos we made, and anyway, we had to have a name for the production company so that we could get checks. And somehow between Lauren, Brian, and myself, that was the name.
Nice.
I'm not sure if that was from probably some music at the time we were listening to, or I don't even know what that was from.
What kind of music did you guys listen to? A lot of jazz and classical? Or?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no. I guess mostly hip hop, rock and roll. Yeah.
Wu-Tang Clan.
Way back. Still listen to that.
Cool, man.
So the name stuck because I think it's harder to. I don't know. I guess that name kind of fits for anything.
Right.
And so we kept it, even though now we're about as far removed, I guess, from the skate world as could possibly be.
It's an acronym. Yeah, it's become. I bet a lot of people say id Cinema too, right?
Yeah.
Is this id Cinema?
Which is fine.
Yeah.
It's easier than getting into a conversation about what it actually is. So.
And so you guys do advertising, marketing, and dance competition videos now?
Yeah, so we have like 2 aspects, I guess you'd say, to our business. We do creative and marketing work for everyone outside of the dance world. So, restaurants, local businesses. We don't do a lot of local work. We have clients, I guess, all over the country. From doing video work, that led into graphic work, and then from there I hired Brandy, who's our account executive. She handles all the traditional marketing stuff of planning, buying, calendars, that type of thing. And then Russell, Brian, and myself, we do all the creative work, from web design to graphic design, video work, photography. Pretty much the 3 of us are on the creative side. She handles all the numbers and the technical stuff. So
sure.
that just came with, I guess, a growing business. You take on clients that need additional services, and rather than outsourcing it, you find somebody internally that can do that.
Yep. Speaking of internally, do you still have a mini ramp in a schoolhouse in Illinois?
I wish. I still have a flat piece of property in Illinois because my dad retired to Florida, left that building in Illinois with the mini ramp in it, locked up, and it burned down. So
Really?
Yeah, so it's just a bulldozed flat city block with
all of our memories in ashes.
Yes, I mean, it was pretty devastating. I would have loved to, move that mini ramp somewhere, anywhere. I probably would have given it away at this point, just as a good home. But yeah, it's toast.
When did that fire happen?
Man, that building's been going since 3 years, probably 2010, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eli Legate told me, I think, in around 2009 that it was still there. Maybe it was 2000.
That's probably right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that. I mean, just an empty city block now. Unfortunately.
Well, may it rest in pieces and ashes and all that stuff.
Yeah. It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, so the third question I did have was how's family life? Congratulations on your newest addition.
Thank you.
You've been married for several years now, so
yeah.
I guess you kind of already touched on that a little bit. Talked about the balance.
Yeah, I mean it's good. I mean it's better than I never thought at 32 I'd have be married and have 2 kids. So it's fun. My older son's 6 now, which is crazy. So he's like just getting into like the fun stage, wanting to skateboard and do that stuff. So
Sweet.
And he's into like superhero stuff, any stuff little kids are into. So
well, okay,
it's pretty cool.
Let's back up for a second here. You were a rollerblader,
Yeah.
still are basically.
Right.
How did your son end up skateboarding?
I don't know exactly. At one point,
Has he seen Dad in Dad's videos at
well,
all?
he's seen. Yeah. So he's when he was probably 4 or something. I had orange it was probably orange, sitting on the table, or it might have been yellow. I don't know. Sarah, I think, showed him one of them so she could show him me skating, and so he was really into that. And then at some point he saw skateboarding somehow and was begging me for a skateboard.
Yeah.
Which it's expensive for a 4-year-old. I was like, so I waited, and then I finally bought him one. And I just thought skateboarding was. I used to film a lot of skateboarding too, so I definitely have a respect for that.
Same here.
And definitely enjoy watching it, just like rollerblading. And so I wasn't gonna Plus his feet are so small; it's hard to find rollerblades for his size. So
True.
Anyway, I bought him a skateboard, and I thought it would be, I guess, easier in a way for him to pick up because he can he loses interest in things so fast, and with a skateboard you just pick it up, put it down, and you just throw it to the side. You don't want to use rollerblades, you gotta strap them on and go through all that work. So I just thought no, that's cool. I just thought that was the easiest thing for him to participate in it first, and it's probably a good idea because he's not. I don't know, he's kind of some days he wants to go to the skate park, and some days he wants nothing to do with it. So I just let him make his own mind up. If he wants some rollerblades, I'll get him some. If he wants to skateboard, I could care less what he does. So
That's cool. Yeah, nothing against skateboard or anything. It's just thought it'd be a funny question to ask.
yeah, no, and it's funny because people will post Sarah or Russell. One day we went to the skate park instead of working in the afternoon, and he used to skateboard, and so he posted a photo on Facebook or something, and it was just a full news feed of people being what's going on?
Yeah, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, so
Blake, we're not friends.
I definitely
anymore.
got the,
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
Well, fair enough. I mean, children are the future, so if you're trying to force things on them, they're just not.
Yeah,
I hate it.
I kind of have the mentality. My parents let me do whatever I wanted.
Same here.
To a certain extent,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna try and convince him one thing's cooler than the other. If he's tomorrow he thinks Spider-Man's cooler than skateboarding, that's fine.
I would. Spider-Man's cooler than a lot of things. I don't know if skateboarding would be one of them, but. All right. So when was the last time you rollerbladed?
A very long time ago. When I lived in Louisville, before I moved here, well, I tore my ACL in my knee, back when I worked at Woodward. So it's been God, I don't even know, probably 8 years. I don't even know how long ago, 8 years ago probably or something like that.
I remember you had a lot of knee issues.
Yeah, so after that I couldn't really...
And wrist issues too, right? One of your wrists kept breaking, or?
Yeah, my wrist. I got that fixed though. I had surgery on that. I got that fixed. Okay. But then, when I had surgery on my wrist, that was the end of my insurance period, and so I didn't have insurance when I hurt my knee, and so I never got that fixed. And now I've had insurance, again, being in for 5 years or however long I've worked here,
right?
Which is, I guess, 7 or 8 years. I've had insurance and still haven't got my knee fixed. So I quit, I guess, the skating as we think of it, way back when, after I hurt my knee, because I couldn't, it's my left knee, I couldn't, grind rails or anything like that. But I used to go, when I lived in Louisville, in the mornings when school was in session, I would go down to the skate park and just skate the bowls, just by myself, That's fun. And then I still filmed with Mark Voida a lot after that, so that's why he actually gave me those skates that are sitting there.
Right.
So I use those to roll around and film him. But other than that, man, it's been, I don't even know, 5 years probably since I've even put those on. I keep making plans each year with my buddy Jeff that lives in Tampa. It's yeah, we're gonna meet up, go to the skate park. Man, it's every year, It never happens, but eventually, that's why they're sitting there. So.
Wait, who was in Tampa?
Jeff Valcourt.
Never met him. He's an older guy.
Yeah, we used to skate together a lot, I guess, back when I first moved down here, 2002 or whenever that was. He skated with me back then. He's in the military, so he's kind of same boat out of it. He actually still goes to the skate park or skate street every now and then, but I haven't been in forever, so I still keep up with it. Obviously, you never lose those friendships.
Right.
So I still keep up with it, I watch videos online and keep up with what's going on. I think I don't know if I'll ever not do that, It's a curiosity of, an industry that you kind of miss being a part of, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Jay Board is skating Friday, and Tanner Tyree made a Facebook event for it. Thoughts on that?
I've been following that as well. I wish... I know it's only a plane ticket away, but if that was later on in the summer, I would probably fly to Indiana just to go to that.
Yeah.
I think I saw you were registered.
Thinking about it, problem is I have this wonderful event to go to that I just can't get out of, so
yeah, I'm
gonna have to miss out on that.
I'm sure there'll be lots of photos of that event.
I'm looking forward to it.
If it's got its own Facebook post, they can't let everybody down without,
I just hope Jay Board doesn't let us down and does some of his antics.
Yeah, Jay's living in, Wisconsin, though, so...
Really?
He's making quite the trek for this event.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I think, I don't know where he lives, in the middle of nowhere.
That is quite a trek.
Yeah.
Will you ever do another rollerblading DVD?
Oh, I would love to. I mean, I would. I don't know if it would be a DVD though. I think it would be.
Why not?
There's too much. I don't know. There's too much hassle that goes into it for the. I think people make DVDs for the wrong. I kind of thought that after, even when I was making Orange, which was. I don't even know, like fucking. Doesn't have a date on it, but it's forever. It was forever ago.
Probably about. I think Orange was 2004. Maybe
People
2005.
People make DVDs and then complain about, especially companies. It like boggles my mind when I see companies complaining about kids ripping off their DVDs.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they should be making them for, especially a company. It's all promotion,
Right.
You know? Like you don't make any much money off DVDs anyway to start with, and so they should be using the video. I mean, in every other industry, you know, skateboarding, biking, whatever, they make those videos to promote their products,
right,
and to promote the team, and make money off that stuff. But so it's almost like as a company, it's like just give it away. Like I never understood why a skate company doesn't make a DVD and put it in every pair of skates. You know, like motivate those little kids to skate like those people, you know?
Or kind of like a handbook or something, just like, all right, here's what's possible, kids.
Yeah, or put it online.
Or please wear all your safety gear, like something like
Ride like Aaron.
Yeah, ride like Aaron. Yeah, dude, a lot of rollerbladers. There's been chatter about like that needs to happen. Like we need another ride like Aaron, except this time it'd be like probably ride like Wake Shefford. Or, you know, one of those, Shackleford, what's his name?
Wake Shepman?
Yeah, thank you.
I know Wake from Woodward. I've seen that kid, like, grow up on rollerblades since he was 5 years old.
Yeah, he's killing it lately, man. He's finally starting to come into that phase of just...
Nitro Circus? Yeah, crazy, man.
The Nitro Circus phase, thank you.
Yes. the commercialized.
Which Mark, I remember seeing Mark... very similar scenario. Just everyone called him Huck Boy the first time I saw him in Louisville, and he was just one of those dudes that would just you'd take him anywhere and he would do it.
Yeah,
like whatever you took him to.
And luckily, those kids were able to grow up without killing themselves.
Exactly.
You know,
it's amazing how resilient these kids.
So now they're like smart enough to know what they're capable of instead of being naive enough. You know, but yeah, I mean. Yeah, he's definitely one of those kids.
Yeah. All right. Cool. What was the worst part about filming for Yellow and Orange?
There wasn't really bad parts. I mean, when I made Yellow, I didn't even own a computer till I was like 20, and so I guess that was one of the bad parts. Was like pretending like I knew how to make a DVD.
We all did. iMovie and iDVD.
I think it was one of those things that was like, oh, I can do that. You know, if this person can do it, I can do it. So that was kind of a struggle. We probably took 100 times longer than it should have because not only did I not own a computer, I didn't know how to use any editing software. I didn't. Probably, I mean, I think I borrowed a camera.
When you were making Yellow, you didn't own a computer? Or?
Not when we started. I actually borrowed Kyle's camera to shoot all of that. I didn't even own a camera when we made that. I actually bought a camera with the money I made from that video.
Fantastic.
So I made so the first skate video I made, I didn't own a camera. I owned a computer because I like took a loan out or something, or my mom loaned me the money, I think, or gave me her Dell credit card.
Mom coming through. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, so Mom came through. That was probably the biggest struggle. I mean, as far as filming it and making it, I mean, we were young. We didn't care about anything. You know?
Right.
It's just filming your day-to-day life and skating with your buddies. It doesn't get much better than that.
Not really, man. We all still dream about it, too.
Yeah.
Everyone in my clique, if we could just do that.
Yeah, right.
And somehow make a living.
That would be but, you know, it's, so as far as making another skate video, I mean, It'd be awesome. But I think you'd have to be like set up enough in your own life to be able to take the time to do that, especially now, because it would have to be different, you know, not only, you know, because you're still not going to make any money making it, so you got to be financially sound, but also it would take a lot longer, I think, because I'd be a lot pickier, I guess, about the vision I had for it. Sure. I think Yellow and Orange just kind of, it's like, all right, we got like 10 hours of footage, let's start combining this into a DVD, you know, you got enough footage for a section, you do too.
Leads me to another question. Which color would you choose for the title of your next project?
I mean,
if you were to do it,
I think back then when we were gonna make another one, it was going to be green. But it was like right around the time like Right came out, and I mean like the obvious thing you would do for that would be like a lot of green screen stuff. So I was kind of put off by that. But a green would be cool to do a bunch of funny green screen stuff. I mean,
there technically has been a Fade Nation green.
Yeah, true. That's a good video too.
Excellent video.
I definitely enjoy those videos.
You could still do green and get. I think people understand because you did the color thing before.
Yeah, except nobody knows what that shit is. Like this far out, like nobody knows what that stuff is. I mean, I still see like it's cool. I saw somebody post like Lauren's section from Orange on YouTube or Facebook or something the other day.
The OGs still educate. The younglings, man.
It's still
still
happens. Yeah, it's a good feeling. Yeah. I watched that section. I probably hadn't watched it in like 5 years, and it was cool to see it because I thought that was like back then. I felt it was like so fortunate to be able to film him because I thought his skating was what rollerblading should be. But then like he was pretty much done with it as that section came out. So
like done with making videos.
Well, just kind of done with. I think he was kind of done with trying to progress his skating beyond the point that it was already at, and I thought he was like farther ahead than everybody else, and like made skating look so much cooler. But I don't think he was really like into having to film for another video.
We'll take a break here. Back to discussing Yellow and Orange. I asked you what the worst part was. What was the best part?
Oh, I mean, I think we talked about that too. It was just, just making videos,
just
with your friends,
living the dream.
There's not really. I always wonder what people do that didn't have skating growing up. Like I feel like that was like such a integral part of my life that like shaped. I mean, I met all my friends through skating. I didn't make a living off of it, but it definitely like shaped like how I lived my life. I mean, because like we would go skate all day, or we would work, some random job, all of us, like till, and you would take as little hours as possible, so that you could get off work and go skate,
right.
And then you would just hang out all night and get up and do it again the next day. I mean, it was definitely. Like looking back on it, it's like definitely a time you wouldn't want to miss out on in your life. So just like hanging out with your friends, and I don't think it gets any better than that. It's like, and then documenting that. And
when I look back on the DVDs I made, even you were in a couple of them. It's just at this point in time, it's like I'm glad I did this because now I can, remember all these people that were at that point in our lives. Very important to us. Still are for the most part. I've definitely lost touch with a lot of rollerbladers though over the years, or they just disappear.
Yeah, I have too. I mean, for the most part though, like in those videos, it was a really small group of people. I mean, I was probably like less than 10 people in most of those videos.
True.
So like, they either lived upstairs in my house, or they lived in the basement of my house, or they lived like across town, or somewhere in the vicinity, and so. I mean, for the most part, that was such a small group of people that I still, I don't see them a lot, but I try and see the majority of those guys like once a year.
Sure.
They'll either come down and visit, stop through like when you guys are visiting, or Tanner's dad actually lives like 40 minutes from here now, so like he comes down or
Nice.
I live in Florida, so it's pretty convenient for people to come on vacation. And
Yeah.
It's
but
probably harder for me to get to Indiana, but because I'm usually like visiting family when I'm up there. But
yeah. Let's talk about the transition from, hey, I'm with my buddies and we're making rollerblading DVDs to, all right, I'm a professional businessman, I want to make money. Like, what kind of was the catalyst to all that? When did you decide to make that transition, and, you know, what resources did you have to make it happen, I guess?
Well, so that happened when I lived in Louisville.
Okay.
Which was like 2008 to 2010, maybe. So I'm pretty bad with time frames.
It's all right. It's all right.
But anyway, so I think it was like natural evolution, I guess, because usually as anyone that skates, you develop some type of skill, whether that's graphic design or, video work or photography. I mean, I think there's so many of those things that go hand in hand with skating that everybody develops something. For me, it was video. I mean, that's what I had an interest in. It was a little bit of the other things at first too, like, graphic design or photography. But at the time when I lived in Louisville, I was getting like some freelance work. I mean, just, if you have a video camera and some free time, you're always looking for freelance work, especially as someone who skates. You're always trying to make extra money.
Right.
And you're generally pretty good at video work from skating, so you can get some random jobs here and there. And that started to kind of build up, a little bit over time. But when I decided to really make it into a business, I was actually working as a telemarketer then too in Louisville, and it was a cool job. I mean, a lot of free time, but I actually got laid off, and so I had enough freelance clients, especially back then, to make it wasn't, I wouldn't even consider it a decent living, but I could make it by.
Sure.
Plus then I was getting unemployment, so I took that 6-month opportunity to, I took my checks from the government, and I had 6 months to make it work.
Right.
And by that time, we had taken on our first, I guess you would call it, like, regular client or bigger client, which was a dance competition. So that, it was just me, and then contract employees at that time. So that, and then just snowballed from there. I mean, at that point, I had a client that we could turn it into a real business and go from there.
Nice. Very cool.
So I guess it was kind of like luck with the government, get some unemployment, have a couple clients, and small business loan, and you're all set.
Small business loan, yes. And I guess in 2008 or 2007, that still was something that was probably more easy to get than it is now.
Yeah, I mean, I did get a loan when I first started to get the equipment that we needed for the client, and I just had I had my grandfather just co-sign on it. I didn't go through a bunch of hoops to get a small business loan. So I guess not everybody would be that lucky to have somebody to co-sign on a loan, but it's not like he was paying it. He was just literally signing his name, and generally everybody knows somebody that can do that for you. So just, I guess they got to believe in you enough to make it happen.
Did you write up a business plan and have all that?
No, I did not. I mean, it was kind of like, I was like young and naive, and I mean, we kind of touched on that earlier about like learning as you go and figuring things out. I was kind of, you think you're so young, I guess it's a good thing. You think
you know everything.
You don't plan. There is no failing, It's like, oh, I can do this, So if I were to start a new business or something, I mean, I would definitely take everything I've learned and do it differently. I would probably definitely have a business plan. And,
it worked out.
yeah, so, I mean, I guess it's just how comfortable you are in what you're about to do.
I think, when I think about people like us that grew up doing things that could kill us and having fun while doing it, I feel like that plays a big part in the way we, like, there's basically two kinds of action sports participants, I've decided. One kind is the smart kind that will do something, maybe get injured, come back, figure out how to do it right, move on. And then there's that other person that just throws himself all the time, constantly getting injured. Same thing with life. You're careful at your job. You don't piss off customers. You're a nice guy for the most part. It takes a lot to piss you off and make you act like an idiot in front of people. But then there's the other type, unprofessional, doesn't give a shit, hanging on by a thread at their job, you know? I feel like also, though, with the courage that you build up in an action sport, pushing yourself to try these things that most people don't think they're capable of doing, it's the same in our careers, basically. Like, you take risks. I'm going to take out this loan for X amount of dollars. I don't care if I can pay it back. I'm going to do this because it's what I want to do. I feel that we have that mentality, and I think a lot of action sports participants that we've seen over the years have had that same mentality as well with their careers, where they take big risks.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I think there's a TED Talk with Rodney Mullen. Have you seen that? Where he tries to explain how skating shapes your thought process. And I mean, he's definitely right on the money with that. I mean, obviously he's at TED Talk for a reason, but
listeners, definitely check that out. That's one thing that I definitely recommend listening to that speech. Rodney Mullen TED Talk. Excellent shout out there.
Yeah, that's like a good explanation, I think, of how people in any action sport, how that has changed their thought process.
What's the end game with Ivory Towers Cinema?
I mean, I guess right now we're in a pretty good position. We have some pretty cool clients that we get to do some cool stuff for.
Yeah.
I think we're trying to, basically what we do is make money for other businesses, and of course we get paid for it.
Sure.
But we're trying to, kind of like with the dance media part of our business, we're actually turning our creative work and our marketing expertise, I guess, towards that, and actually practicing what we preach, and marketing our own business that way.
Right.
I think the next thing, we are looking at is like some, maybe another business of our own that we can market, and do that work for. I mean, I like doing it for other people, but we've learned a lot doing it, and I think applying that to something we actually own is ideal. And just being, I guess, getting more into like web stuff. It's so easy now to create, because everybody has access to everything. It's so easy to create a web product or create a web service. So thinking, you think of ideas every day that you wish happened. So maybe just implementing some of those things into, web services that we can offer, or web, products we can offer. So.
No app development yet?
No, we haven't developed any apps. Mobile sites,
right?
But no actual apps. I think. I don't know. I'm kind of like, we've talked about a lot of apps, but I think
a lot of businesses want them now.
Yeah, I just think that I don't know. I just hate seeing all these apps that don't do anything, I guess. And so if I were to, if we wanted to create an app, I would want it to be something that I would personally want to use. And I just don't have that idea, I guess, for an app.
Sure. All right. We're looking for investors, by the way, so if you ever want to invest in Top Level Society, just
hit you up.
We're always looking, man.
As soon as I make my first podcast investment.
Well, we do more than podcasts, Blake. We're actually working on an app right now, and we have video production services of some sort.
We could freelance for you if you ever have any clients in Florida.
Thanks, man. So we would give you our business.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate that.
I'll market myself to you.
Was that a marketing fight?
Yeah, it was.
The app, we'll talk about that after the podcast. We're not ready to give out confidential information.
That's right. You don't want to get out that to your...
Yeah, but last question is, this is another special question. It started when we had a co-host for a while, Thunderbeard. It's what do you not give a fuck about?
Oh, man. I think just negative people. I just can't stand when... and that was a really hard thing for me to learn.
Sure.
About business was when we had... Everybody encounters negative people. We encounter a lot of them in a particular part of our business.
Sure.
And it was really hard for me to learn not to, I guess, to still care about them,
sure.
Like as customers. You know, you deal with
Absolutely.
this. So it's like they'd call and just be, rude to us for no reason.
Right.
Even if it was something that's totally their fault. And that just, would turn me off, with my personality. So I was, not really interested in going above and beyond to help them.
Sure.
And then at a certain point I realized that, there's tons of analogies for this, but it really makes my life much simpler to just give them what they want to a certain extent,
right.
And bend over backwards to help them. So that took me a long time to realize that. And it sounds so ridiculous that it sounds like that's obvious, but to me it wasn't. And
it's killing people with kindness is the best skill. Seriously, in any customer service job.
No, yeah,
it's the best. It's like your ultimate. It's the ultimate weapon. It's like the magic wand, the crossbow, everything combined in one. If you can take the most negative, upset, angry customer in the world and turn them around, that, my friend, is when you know you've made it.
Yeah.
When you reach that point, and it happens with maturity. It didn't happen for me until I was probably 29, 30. I did it kind of when I was in my 20s, but when I really when I joined the company that I'm with currently, I joined them because I hated them. Because this company was the worst company I'd ever heard of, and I thought I could make it better. And I was a disgruntled employee before being employed by this company. So I have, that empathy for these customers that do call in upset. And that's another skill as well, empathy. If you have that with anything or anyone, some of the most upset and angry people, they're just looking for love. If you just give them a hug and, listen to them for a minute.
To the phone.
Yeah, dude, it's just instantly de-escalate. So I absolutely understand that. And
yeah, so that's pretty much the main, I don't know, just don't, I think people can, do whatever they want in life. And so it's don't bring your negativeness towards me. Is that a word, negative?
Probably.
Don't bring your negativity.
Negativity, yeah.
Don't bring your negativity towards me, if you're on it, because, they're most likely unhappy about something else, And I'm not talking about just customers or
people
clients,
in general.
because people in our, our clients and everything are generally very pleasant to be around, but
sure.
Just in general, I don't know. I think that if you're unhappy, you got to look at figure out what it is, and
exactly.
don't blame it on me.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You gotta not. On the flip side, don't take anything personal. Is a big step in that direction, and just remember that you're both people, and at the end of the day, we're all just people trying to make our lives work for us.
For sure.
I'm going to go ahead. We'll end it there. I have 2 jokes at the end. I end every podcast with a joke. But I didn't do it last podcast, so now I have 2 jokes.
Oh, okay.
That we're going to end on. First joke is, what kind of ship never sinks?
You got me.
Friendship. Yeah. Last joke. What did King Tut say when he got scared? I want my mommy. Thank you for listening to the Top Level Society podcast, everybody. We do have bandanas coming soon, dropping before summer hits. And then we have our summer line coming up. Pick those up, toplevelsociety.com, under the shop link. Everyone have a sexily.
Thanks for listening to the Top Level Society podcast. Please call the hotline at 424-253-6355 with any questions or comments, and they will be shared on the next podcast. Have a great day, evening, sexy humanoid you.